The school committee asks other officials to consider local education during the MBTA Communities Act process. Community members commemorate Indigenous Peoples Day, and an overview of question 2 on the 2024 Massachusetts ballot, which, if approved, would eliminate the requirement to score high enough on the MCAS exam to receive a high school diploma in the state. I'm Brendan Fitzpatrick, and this is The Frame, Framingham News in Focus. Hello and welcome to The Frame, an initiative of Access Framingham. We start this week with a review of the Framingham School Committee's meeting on Wednesday, October 16th, as local education officials are asking the Planning Board and City Council to consider school matters when evaluating their options for compliance with the MBTA Communities Act. A refresher on the state law, communities with T service have to provide at least one multifamily housing district as of right in its zoning, with communities out of compliance running the risk of a loss of state funding for local projects. Currently, Framingham is in line with the act through the end of 2024, but city officials have been working on a plan for months to ensure compliance beyond December 31st. The Planning Board's current proposal features zoning in areas like the downtown, Shoppers World, Knobscott, and Saxonville areas. School committee members such as Chair Jessica Barnhill and District 4's Adam Freudberg urged the Planning Board and the City Council to consider factors that could impact education across Framingham, including the upcoming Southside Elementary School building, affordable housing, and early childhood education. Executive Director of Finance and Operations for Framingham Public Schools, Lincoln Lynch, explained on Wednesday that 0.15 students per unit are expected through the zoning plan that's currently pitched by the Planning Board, which would result in just over 650 new students over an extended period of time, given the amount of units required. He added that local schools see enrollment increase with the rise of sales for single-family homes, a number that's actually gone down recently, resulting in a decline in enrollment in Framingham over the past year. He told the school committee that a wide range of factors will play into the impact that new zoning will have on the city's school system.
I am not seeing the apartment complex going up and a ton of students coming in. So while we use this formula with the 0.15 per unit, that is based on historical data and should not be used as the set in stone number that will happen. We don't know until they show up, until they build it and they lease all the apartments.
Now, these developments from the school committee came as both the Planning Board and City Council prepared for public hearings regarding the MBTA Communities Act. The Planning Board's meeting is taking place the night that this episode airs, Thursday, October 17th, while the City Council will be taking comments during their meeting on Tuesday, October 29th at 7 p.m. Local residents have been invited to both sessions to ask questions and provide their thoughts. It's worth mentioning once more that while the Planning Board can make any recommendations for a zoning plan to comply with the state law, the City Council has the final say on what is ultimately accepted, rejected, or amended. Stay in the loop with all of the updates from the ongoing MBTA Communities Act situation and other municipal developments by logging on to our website, www.theframe.news. Written articles, feature pieces completed across Framingham, and full episodes of our program can all be found there, the latest source for local news. Also, follow us on social media. Our Instagram and X pages can both be found at FrameNews_. Subscribe to Access Framingham's YouTube channel and hit the bell icon to be notified whenever we release a new episode. Type in The Frame in the Facebook search bar to find us there, too. Meanwhile, Metro West community members gathered at Barberry Elementary School this past Monday, October 14th, to commemorate Indigenous Peoples Day. The program, which featured city and school officials alongside leaders of local organizations like the Greater Framingham Community Church and Jewish Family Services of Metro West, recognized the land surrounding Farm Pond and the school in the modern age as land that was originally settled by the Nipmuc tribe. Nipmuc itself translates to freshwater people. Other tribes that originally inhabited the area that we now know as Framingham, such as the Agawam, Penobscot, Stockbridge, Munsee, Wampanoag, Pawtucket, Narragansett, and Massachusetts, were also recognized during the event on Monday. Attendees learned more about Native American culture, music, and history, while speakers vouched for a greater sense of unity for all people through that education and understanding.
It's important. The reasons that we survived here for so many thousands of years was those kinship ties between our communities. And nowadays, it's important that you have kinship ties between your communities that are here in this way.
A handful of notes from the city's Department of Public Works now. Crews have begun replacing a sewer main along Wild Avenue, just off of Waverly Street. Only residents will be able to pass through Wild during the project, which is slated to take about a week and a half, according to the DPW. Through traffic will be detoured onto Larrabee Ave. Drivers are also advised that Mount Waite Ave will have a detour heading west on Friday, October 18th, as milling and paving is carried out on the stretch between Union Ave and Franklin Street. Eastbound traffic will be allowed to pass through Mount Waite during the work. Finally, DPW workers will be collecting brush outside of homes during regular trash collection days next week. Wood waste from trees and brushes, excluding logs or stumps, can be broken up and put into tied bundles or reusable containers for collection. The brush should not be put into plastic bags, and the material cannot exceed 4 feet in length or 4 inches in diameter. A second brush collection event will take place in December. State Senate President Karen Spilka will be at Keefe Regional Technical School this Saturday, October 19th, for the annual Health and Wellness Fair for those 55 and older. Residents 55 years old and above, along with their caretakers and loved ones, are invited to learn more about health and financial resources, workshops, activities, and more across the Metro West region. Free health services like flu shots and screenings will be provided as well during the free event, which will take place from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And finally, the next installment of our series previewing the questions on the 2024 Massachusetts ballot. This week, we took a look at question 2. Which will ask voters if they support repealing the requirement of a certain score on the Massachusetts Comprehensive Assessment System exam, or MCAS as it's commonly called, in order to graduate from public high schools. The MCAS would not be eliminated outright with a yes vote, but high schoolers would not need to hit a certain score in order to earn their diploma. We spoke with educator and vice president of the Massachusetts Teachers Association, Deb McCarthy, an advocate for the yes vote, along with parent Jill Norton, a supporter for the no vote, to learn more about question 2.
This is a coalition of parents who collected more than 10,000 signatures, of educators across the Commonwealth, of community activists, and more recently, some very prominent elected congresspeople and legislators who have acknowledged with affirmation that our students are more than a one-time score, and the opportunity for these students to get a diploma is on November 5th.
So I think people think that because we're a top education state, that we have a set number of and type of courses for all of our high schoolers. So when you get a Massachusetts diploma, it signifies the same thing. We don't have that. So that disparity is concerning to me as a parent, and I feel like it sends a mixed message. So you're doing everything you're supposed to do to earn your diploma, and then you realize you're not in line with the admissions requirements for our state universities and the UMass system. And I just feel like I think a lot of people don't understand that that's what we have in place now, and if we don't have MCAS, then that's what we're left with.
If you're interested in hearing more from both Deb and Jill on question 2 on this November's ballot, our full interviews with both of them are available on our website, theframe.news, as well as Access Framingham's channel on YouTube. Speaking of the election, a timely reminder for you now that the deadline to register to vote is quickly approaching. Saturday, October 26th is the final day to register to vote online, with 5 p.m. that evening being the deadline for an in-person request. Mailed-in registrations have to be postmarked by that date as well. Tuesday the 29th is the final day to request a blank absentee ballot. Early voting begins this upcoming Saturday the 19th and runs through Friday, November 1st. Election Day is the following Tuesday, November 5th. That's all for this week's Framingham News in Focus. For the entire team here at The Frame, thanks for joining us this week. My name is Brendan Fitzpatrick. We'll talk to you next week. Take care.